Welcome to the Survivor to Thriver show with your happiness expert, Samia Bano. Are you a survivor of abuse or other trauma? Are you tired of feeling stuck, silent, and stressed all the time? This is the podcast people from all over the world join in to learn exactly how to stop suffering and start living with more inner peace and joy. Are you ready to eliminate suffering from your life and transform from a survivor to thriver? Then congratulations, you are in the right place. Let's get started. Hey, welcome back to the Survivor to Thriver show with me, your happiness expert and host, Samia Bano. Yesterday, we had left off at a very, very important point. And so I want to pick up right where we left off. We were talking about how, I was implementing this important lesson that I had learned in my life about being like water. Okay, so when we come across a challenge and a hurdle in our way, and it's a challenge and a hurdle that we feel like, oh my gosh, okay, this is too much for me to deal with right now. I can't really deal with it. I can't break it down. I can't go through it. Well, then, like water, what we do is we figure out a way to just flow around it, or over it, or under it, and just kind of like bypass it, and shift our focus away from the problem to the solution, and engaging in the solution and just moving forward. So the big problem that was still in my way was that I still didn't believe that I could go and be open with my family about being a survivor of child sexual abuse, particularly because I was afraid of how it would impact all of our family relationships, because the person who had abused me was a member of our family. Right? And so it was still like something where I was feeling like, okay, I still have to remain silent, and I still can't openly, therefore, be as open in my process of reaching out for help and asking for help and accessing the help and support that I need in my life to continue to heal and move forward. So instead of becoming focused on this challenge and problem, I decided to just flow around it, to put it aside, to leave it be for the moment, and take a look at and figure out, okay, what else do I really need to do? What else do I really need to help myself heal that I can focus on and work on right now with what I know and with what I have? Okay, so in making this decision and in seeking this clarity, the good news for me, again, was that I wasn't just blindly trying to figure things out. Because for the last so many years, I had dedicated my life to learning everything that I could about how to help myself heal and how to live with more inner peace. And my two main sources of information were, number one, digging deep into the teachings of my faith. And actually, the thing was, honestly, I was not just learning about and looking into Islam to see what it had to teach us about how to live with inner peace, I was just, just because of who I was and how I'd come upon that realization that looking into and studying faith and religion and spirituality could be ways that could help me to figure this crucial question out, get the answer to this crucial question of how do we achieve more inner peace. I took a very interfaith approach to this learning process, and so besides learning from the Islamic tradition, I was also learning from the Christian and Jewish traditions, and I'd also become like as an Indian, I'd been very much exposed and interested in growing up in Hindu traditions and learning from them, especially because, again, my family was like one of these families that, taught me to really appreciate the diversity that I was a part of in my communities, and to learn and not be threatened by it, right? So I was also learning from the Hindu tradition, and actually after I came to America, I became more exposed to Buddhist traditions and learning about Buddhism. So I was taking a very interfaith, multicultural approach to exploring religion and faith and spirituality, and learning from all these different faith traditions and spiritual traditions about how do we live with inner peace, how do we stop the suffering in our life. And then the other area of study was the field of psychology that I'd become focused on, and you know why that happened, right? Also, so thanks to all the learning that I'd been engaging in and focused on over the last several years, from about age 15 or so, 14, 15, to now I was around 20 years already, I wasn't blind anymore. I was no longer in the darkness of ignorance. I had managed to take myself and step out into the light of knowledge, and so I could make informed decisions and informed choices about what to do next, where to focus on next, to help me move forward in my healing process. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest lessons that I had learned over the last 5 years of my life in how to help myself was this idea of helping others, helping myself by helping others. And again, I saw that it was true, that when I shifted the focus away from myself and my suffering and my pain, and allowed myself to connect to the pain and suffering and the challenges that other people were facing, and do what I could do to contribute to their wellness, to their well-being, to helping them feel better, the more I helped myself. Sometimes that help that I received for myself was in very direct ways, and in other times it was in more indirect ways. But either way, the more I helped other people, the more I found myself helping myself. And this was another great thing about being in college, that college is an amazing place. At least it was for me, because I happened to be at an awesome college. At this time, I was actually in Santa Monica College, which is a community college in Santa Monica. And it's a great campus, a lot of activism, a lot of, just student clubs and organizations and just resources that we can plug into to become engaged in different kinds of issues and not just be learning information, but to be taking action. So some of the things that I became really passionately involved in on campus at that time was one of the environmental clubs on campus. It was called the Eco Action Club, and again, like for me, being environmentally conscious and acting in ways that were environmentally conscious and working to protect and preserve and conserve our environment were values that I had learned from my faith tradition. They were grounded in my learning and understanding of Islam, which teaches us that, hey, everything that exists is a creation of God. And when you disrespect God's creation, you are really disrespecting God. And God does not love people who waste things. God does not love people who harm, other creatures that He has created, other people that He has created, other aspects of the environment that He has created, right? So for me, that was a very important issue to get involved in and get engaged in the activism around environmental sustainability. Another really important issue that I got engaged in was, I actually, remember how I'd been sharing with you that one of the things that really bothered me, like I'd grown up with this sense that there was something very wrong with the way that women in our society are treated, right? And just that sense of a disempowerment that I experienced around that whole issue, and feeling like there was nothing I could do to change that or to stop that kind of mistreatment that I observed, and that really bothered me. So it was actually what happened was that I discovered that at Santa Monica College at that time, they were teaching a class in women's self-defense. So I first enrolled in that class. Oh my gosh, it had all kinds of huge impact on my life. Hugely empowering impact on my life. Maybe I'll tell you in the next episode, I had at least one hugely major breakthrough as a result of going through that class. So maybe I will talk about it in the next episode. But basically, in the aftermath of that class, once I had graduated from the class, then what happened was that I started a women's self-defense club on campus. So that, because they were going to cancel the class on campus because we were going through this budget crisis in the state of California as a whole, and our community college, along with other community colleges in California, were seeing their funding being severely cut, and so a lot of the classes in the physical education department were being cut out, and people just figured that, hey, self-defense is just like one of those nice electives or whatever, but it's not like part of any required courses or degrees. So, they were just going to cut it out. And I wasn't going to have that because I went through that class and it had such a huge impact on me, beneficial impact on me, that I was like, okay, well, you know what? If the school is not going to provide that class, then I'm going to start a club on campus, and we're going to continue to engage, the women on our campus in what that class was teaching us, what I learned through that class. And so I got together with some other members of my class from the Women's Self-Defense class, and we started this Women's Self-Defense Club on campus. So that was another big thing that I got involved with at that time. And, well, yes, there were a few other things. I just got super active, super involved. So I won't go through the list of everything, because not everything is very relevant to the current story. Just know that I'm the kind of person who has many different interests. Like, I have a really good brain, really good mind, and I'm naturally, just, I love to learn. And so that I just found so many different things to be interested in and get engaged with. And it was awesome. It was awesome because the more engaged I got, the more alive I became, and wow, that's just a great feeling to feel aliveness, And so that's where I was. Okay, so my gosh, look at the time. We have to stop right here for today, and I will catch up with you tomorrow. In the meanwhile, as usual, connect with me at the academyofthriving.com, and I wish you lots of peace and joy.